All right. So, welcome to tonight's game. When we last left, you had explored your newly acquired little estate. Um, and once you've explored more about the odd occurrences in the very large house and taproom, you actually found out that there was not that big of a threat existing there. It is haunted, but you discovered the name of the creature haunting you being Lift. Once an avid, well, somebody who's at least either tried to be a brewer, taproom owner, bartender, and there's many theories flying, and then died. Clearly, his ambitions have not ended. So once he heard the group begin to talk about opening the tap room and serving the alcohol, things got a little friendlier. Um, you all decided to get accustomed to the idea, and several of you got a little excited at the idea of hosting a haunted tap room. You explored, found the place, and realized there's much space for you to set in. Um, so you've each found your rooms, got your wounds healed a little further, got some good rest, uh, cleaned up from some of the more sticky encounter with Liff in the earlier moments, and woke up all at your own routine, only to find a Volo knocking at your door. After a bit of debate, you all agreed to clear off his debt by taking on this estate. So you were able to get this signed off over a long, several hour meeting with the magistrates of Waterdeep. So the deed of the house now has your 5 signatures in it and is in the possession of the home itself for the time being. You've all had some time at this point to kind of look around. So we'll start today's game with a 24-hour delay. So your first moment, you were able to, for those of you who decided to move permanently, gather all of your acquisition and bring them over. So your things are in your room if you decided to keep it. You were also able to do a little bit of decor. So I'm going to do a little bit of a round table. I know we spoke of it in chat, but I just want to see a little bit things that were done. So I'm going to go, let's see. I will do this alphabetically. So Cerise, during a 24-hour, what would a Cerise have done?
Well. See, I guess part of the problem is that, like we were talking about in the chat earlier, the place isn't really super ready to go. But I suppose she could at least move her more personal items here, because she really doesn't have a lot of those. And of course, move Gloria over here.
Yeah, there would be in that like little back alley, there would be a bit of grass growing, especially against the wood. So she'd have little patches as long as she's nicely tied up.
Yeah, she's going to wait probably to not really move the most of her bakery operation here until the kitchen is more prepared for it. But like her personal items she can move.
Okay, so she would have kept the bakery running that day, like, but it would be more like a workplace. You know, you go there in the morning, come back after it closes.
Yeah. Well, see, I guess even that's weird. But I guess if everybody else, or if most of the other people are planning on moving into the house, this is why I didn't want to go first. Because it kind of, for Cerise, it really does kind of depend more on what other people do. So maybe we should move on, and then if I need to correct anything I've said, I can come back to it.
Sounds good. Then we'll move on to Darius.
No! Damn, okay.
Shouldn't have picked a name that starts with D! I'm
So
kidding.
what Darius does in this time? We have a 24-hour period, you said, correct?
Yes.
Well, aside from mostly moving in his things and trying to make the room, his own, more personal, set things up in just the right way. I think he might. Just checking. We've all discussed making the place into a tavern by now, correct?
Yes. It's not been said exactly, though I think it's a tavern / pie shop.
Yeah. Definitely have to get the pie in there.
Would have Darius kept his place at the inn?
Oh, no. He would have turned back in the key, I suppose, and once he's moved all of his stuff, this is going to be his permanent residence.
All right, so once you have that set up, what would he have done with his day? Because I'd imagine he doesn't have enough to have that many trips it would take all day. So you'd have several hours.
I think I would look around to try and find if there's a... I think we need to find an artist, for one thing. Eventually, we're going to have to paint a sign for this place, and as far as I'm aware, none of us are.
We still haven't decided on the name, though.
But if we can find an artist still,
True.
Well,
can't find prices and people.
okay, so you went shopping for the necessities of like opening the storefront of the tap room. So, like signs and what else you would need for this. Then what I can tell you is that you would have found a lot of information. The market would have been bare. You would have lost a lot of time there. But if you went to the trade war, that's where things start to really pick up. People are really able to guide you. But hearing wind that a tap room might open, you would have encountered. You would have encountered a young, actually halfling male, who is a representative of the tap room or the innkeepers and tavern keepers guild, who would give you a very, 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 very strong suggestion that you should consider joining the guild. People don't really like in Waterdeep when you do things without consulting with the trade guilds first. And they
that's right. I would have known that. Derp.
Yes, but given it's a taproom / bakery, your baker's guild does transfer over. You'd have to report to your guild when you do move your bakery over and decide to open up. But given you haven't done that yet, it's not something to report at this point. But the innkeepers guild would also say that it would also apply. So they'd give you like a pamphlet of information that they say, but it's like 10 pages thick. And they would have basically hinted you very strongly that you should really consider them prior to opening your doors, but that they can assist if you need to as well.
Oh, marvelous. Does joining the guilds offer any great benefits then?
Yes, yes. Of course, it does offer many, 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 many benefits. Not to mention insurance, helps in promotions. Everybody in Waterdeep, when they're in the guild, tends to, scratch my back, I scratch yours. A little difficult if you get in competition. I hear there's another tap room about to open in your street, in Trelskull too. So, a little convivial. So if there's ever any dispute, we also provide, the arbitrering that are necessary in solution solving. And opening a new guild, we can guide you to places that give you discount prices. So if you ever needed like stools or a good group from the Carpenters Guild for these kind of furniture, I know good people. I can send you their way.
Delightful. I'm sure my companions will be most pleased to hear this news. And,
Of course they would be. Why wouldn't they?
Thank you very much, Master Halfman.
Oh, just call me Chuckleberry.
Very well, if you insist. I shall return to them with this news immediately. How shall I find you in this guild after? Oh, it's in the pamphlet, isn't it?
Indeedio. So I wish you a very, very good day, my friend.
And I to you, Master Chuckleberry.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of just saunters alone, puts back what he has, like it's a floppy hat that he puts on his head. And you just see him walk about with his little flowy green coat as he heads towards a few of the shops. And you can see he's kind of eavesdropping to everyone's conversations around just for the nearest opportunity for him to chime in.
I think this might be Darius's at least first formal introduction to the guilds of Waterdeep. So
that would be likely.
So, I mean, maybe he was threatening me, maybe he wasn't. Kind of hard to tell at this point.
You can roll an insight to know.
Oh, good point. I will. Absolutely not. He was just being very friendly and helpful, I assume.
He was just having one of those really peppy days.
These guild guys are really friendly.
All right, so you'd be able to return home with a bit of information. You would have gotten the name of at least 3 different shops that would all be vying to get this small contract to make the sign, and several of them say that they can even decorate the entrance in whatever theme you're looking for. Several of them would have asked you, but I'm assuming you don't have the answer to that yet.
No, I don't think we have that in or out of character necessary.
Well, out of character, we don't. I don't know if Darius was the type of character who would have had a slip and kind of made the decision for everyone. Kind of like everybody comes home and somebody is like, why is there a swordfish on the door?
No, I think you would know the others might want some input into that.
All right.
Or at very least
So-
not be able to pay for it yet, for the matter.
Mm-hmm. The prices would all be, for the sign alone, are actually pretty simple. It's all below 1 gold to get a simple sign made. You get a little above if you want them to come and install it. labor and everything. But it's just a basic wooden sign, usually hung by 2 chains. It can get pricey if you're looking for something very sophisticated. So you can have signs that will easily go up into 20, 30 gold pieces. If you're going for something made of a shiny metal with whether it be gold or platinum filigrees in there with gem encrusted or something like that. So not sure if you want to go that road, but it can go up to that. But a simple wooden square sign with a painting on it, you're looking an average price of, I'd say, 3 to 5 silver. And after that, we're going to move to Kag-Ro.
Kag-Ro would return to the yawning portal and pack up anything that he's had for long periods of time that he keeps in his room, his standing room there, and telling all of his friends and compatriots that he is moving to a brand new place that's far better in the district that the Troll Skull is in. He will gather all of his things together, including his weights and his chests and everything, and he'll make his way right back to the place and start setting up his room with various things that he's picked up. After he's brought his stuff to the room, he will return to the market, and in the market he will put in an order for a Goliath-sized bed and a Goliath-sized tub.
Goliath-sized tub is like an Olympic swimming pool for a half.
So the Goliath-sized tub, so you're looking to purchase that? That's going to be a little expensive.
Well, his plan is to have one crafted. I don't imagine it's going to be instantaneous, so...
Yeah, that's still expensive, as they would have to... First of all, they would have to craft it in the bathroom, because the Goliath-sized tub wouldn't fit in the doorway. Unless you want to pay magical teleportation fees, which would be pretty high. I'd imagine for that, it would be an easy 25 gold to get a tub of that size made. Unless you want to do it through the amateurs, which would be those in training, could give you a lower price, somewhere between around 10 gold. Could always you roll a persuasion, see if you bargained yourself a better price.
I suppose he can try to bargain himself a better price, but he's still looking for something quality. I mean, he's not exactly a lightweight, so having an amateur construct a not necessarily strong bed and it collapse in the middle of the night, probably not the best investment.
Oh, you said bed. I heard bath.
I said bed and bath.
Okay. That's like prices each. The bed would actually be a lower price because the group you'd have to get would be different, a lot less material, and less complicated. The bed frame can be carried and put sideways. So you'd be looking at about 5 gold for the frame and another 5 for the mattress. You'd have to find both in different places. Those are obviously a basic wooden frame that is sturdy, and with some spring work, and you would get a normal sheep wool mattress.
Okay. But yes, he'd get all those. Besides, if a normal tub is about 5 feet long, that still leaves like 3 feet of, feet space that he can't really move. So that's kind of necessary if he wants to actually take baths. Let's see. Aside from that, I suppose he would spend some of his own personal time mending the small cracks and breaks in some of the furniture that's down below. in the tap room area, so that they don't have to pay extra fees to buy all new chairs. So the ones that are like one broken leg, or just cracked in the middle or something like that, you can just kind of he'll just fix those with his magical mending and such. Aside from that, I suppose he would make sure that Garth was aware that this would be his place of location, and try to see if he could get him to sort of set up a meet and greet thing for a week or so from when they're ready, or like right around after like a grand opening thing. He's going to try to set up a grand opening thing with his publicist so that he can maybe get customers in.
Your publicist would remind you that it will all depend on what will happen in what is now 4 days.
Do not worry about that, friend. I have already told you. I have told my friends, and we will handle it.
Oh God. I'm just gonna talk in my normal voice for this one because I have to try and go Jersey, which I'm not familiar with enough. But picture in Jersey accent on his response, basically being a little distracted and giving you a yeah, I'm not worried. I like your optimism. And he kind of has like a sad, pitiful look at you when he talks, but he goes on to his thing. As for your repairs of the home, you can do a little bit. I'd imagine you'd focus more around your room for the beginning. So the few planks in the walls that would be a little more damaged. I think yours has access to a balcony as well. No, you don't. So you'd be able to get maybe the stairs fixed or some of the door frames arranged. You'd be able to do the repairs of the basic wooden structures in, I would say, either 2 inside rooms with not touching the furniture, or one of the balcony. So whichever. You'd imagine that using your mending spells, getting all of the wooden fixed in this place at a rate of 4 or 5 hours a day would take you about 3 weeks.
Okay. So yes, I guess he would focus on his room to begin with, and just do that one in the 24-hour period I have. If I have any other free time to do it, I definitely will start, using my kicking foot to knock out those planks in the windows.
Yeah, okay, that would be fairly easy to do. You'll find that there's no glass there, so you'll have to eventually consider some of the glass makers of the city. Again, you'll have to talk to a guild, but they can arrange stuff for you for that. But you're able to onboard them, which will make the place drastically and very quickly looking more inviting to both people and possibly flies. You'll find on several occasions as you're doing this about the room, and this applies to every single one of you as you're bringing things up. Liv will help each and every one of you carry your stuff to the room. On occasion, as you're kind of doing some of your bending, he will help push some of the furniture around and a few other things like that. He's actually going to be very helpful on that day.
Well, I'm sure he wants to get it open as much as we do. I will let you move on to the next person on the list.
Next is Marla.
Okay, so Marla wants to start the day by going to talk to one of her contacts. I don't remember their names. Let me double check.
Is it Krantz?
Either no, it's Amerigo or Averine. They're both with the Xanathars, though.
Let me pull a quick something. Okay, and what are you seeking from either of them? It will depend what it is you want.
I want to get more information about the mage that I saved the night before.
Okay. Being that those are kind of official, you see there's little kind of guard cities just outside of the place that are usually reachable by boat. So you actually have to take a little ferry there. You're talking like a 10-minute ferry. It's not very long. And there's an
All right.
underground over there. And that's where the underground of Skullport is. Once you go there, this is basically a black market. Xanathar Guild is not the only place, the only group present. This is like a zone where it doesn't matter how much you hate each other. People have agreed to basically do well to one another. That doesn't mean that people don't cross the line. They're just very, very careful that it's not a big public scene and it's not, they don't get caught. So people are much more subdued. So you cross several Zentarims, a few independents, and so on and so forth. Amerigo is nowhere to be found, but you do find Miss Averine, and you said you want to learn about the mage.
Yes.
So the half-orc.
Say again?
So the half-orc.
Yes. Who is he? Why'd he kill our own people?
Okay. What she tells you without any kind of check whatsoever is that the half-orc is not the one that have killed the own people. She's heard of him. He's currently taking a leave, which has been granted by the Xanathar Guild because he's very injured. He's actually another representative of the guild. He's a high-level fence and manager for startups in the northern part of the city. He was there because he was supposed to receive Rainier, and he was supposed to receive an item that they were looking for. So he was there on a mission. He was actually instructed to give you some information if you were to show up with the first proposal you got from Krentz some time ago. However, it turns out that the place got invaded by these weird demonic things. And he was actually just another bystander, and he got just beaten up. So he's on leave with a potential demotion above his head.
Ouch. What happens if I get the item?
You'll get to meet the Xanathar himself.
Oh. I'll have to think real hard about that one.
And roll a persuasion. And 10 is actually sufficient for some information. And she'll give you well, you've managed better than he has. You've gone through the place. You and your group have survived. Seems like they don't know you're part of the guild. I'd appreciate you'd keep it that way. And you've given us the information that Rainier is a useless trail to follow. Yet I wonder if a threat to his life would be efficient. That's another group, not for you, my dear. We take them taller for that kind of endeavor. But I think I may have a different lead. We're looking for the Stone of Galore.
Oh, that sounds fancy.
It is. It is a key of sorts. No one really knows how it works. Rainier's father. You've heard of the scandal, have you not?
It's been hard not to.
Yes. The now banished Lord of Waterdeep, who had embezzled what is it? 1.5 million gold coins? Something like that. There's been rumors that it may even be above 10 millions. We're not sure. But he has a cache. But he didn't die. Some people think he had. He was simply imprisoned, and his fate was kept secret. Now he's been banished back to Neverwinter, his domain. I think he's trying to get it back. We have spies planted there. This stone would be a key to finding that cache or opening it. We're unsure. We must have it at all costs.
All right.
So any information you get that proves valid will get you a nice pay. We give 10 gold for a piece of useful information, and only once it's been validated. The stone itself, well, you get a cut of the treasure.
I think we can both find that agreeable.
I would think so. You wouldn't be part of this group if you didn't have that type of mentality.
All right. Do you have anything for me to go off of to find it?
I'm afraid not. But perhaps you could try and prod your Rainier friend a little more. Maybe there's something he's not telling. Maybe there's something he knows he doesn't realize he knows.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure. See you around. I'll be back.
Of course. And if you ever find the identity of the demons that took over our sewer lair in Waterdeep, we'll pay for that information as well.
All right.
And on that, she'll turn around and kind of just wave you to leave as she's signaling a person who would be a little far. And you'd see this young human, not old enough to be called an adult, who looks very subdued and clearly a wannabe, someone who's joining the life and just coming in for his debut.
I'll tell him to hang in there, kid, as I walk past, and I'll leave because now I need to go gather Fredward and see if he can help us.
Fredward?
The cousin that Cerise and I made up.
Oh, I know. Cerise is betrothed, but how is he helping?
We were wondering if he was able to help us build things and clean things and just be helpful.
Okay. You probably would be able to get him to do the usual stuff.
He
I
did help
will.
with the pie shop that one time.
Oh, unless you are
Oh,
trying
that's
to.
right. After her shop was broken into, we had the halflings come fix it up. That's right. I forgot about
Yes, because he can reach the tall shelves.
right.
But
This does, however, mean I have to move out of the inn because now my family knows I'm in town, so I will take my stuff to the and store it in the turret.
sounds good. So you're able to do some of that, enlist the help of Fredward, though by the time you did the trip, came back, gathered your stuff, talked to people, there wouldn't have been that much time to work in the house, but you'd be able to do at least, some dusting, perhaps starting to pile up some of the broken furniture that you want to either burn or throw to the trash, but at least have a central location in the back alley for all of that junk.
Excellent. I would also like to talk to him about what it would take to wall off the part of the turret that's in the den, and create a stairway that goes from the second to the third floor and up to the top, or at least a ladder.
The ladder would be easy. Walling off things, he'll tell you he won't touch it with a 10-foot pole, in this case probably 15, and you'd have to go through the Carpenters Guild. So things in Waterdeep need you to pass by the guild for some of the big enlisted work, because otherwise the guild tend to get offended and don't really like it. So if you were to decide that, hey, I'm going to repair my own roof and use some materials I find, sometimes the guild of roofers can get a little mad and wake up with a weirdly bright pink roof or something like that.
How terrible. That's fair enough. I don't think at this point I would have enough time to go talk to them today, right?
To the guild?
Yeah.
Probably not, but you could easily put it on your to-do list, and Fred would be able to provide you the information of where you have to go. So you'd be ready to go there in the next days or so.
Perfect.
So at this point, the place is already starting to look better, and then we can see what T has in store.
Okay, so first, T has a house that he's going to keep because he wants someplace to work on his kills so that he's not dragging dead animals all the way across town into a rich part of town and raising some eyebrows. So he's going to move things that are important to continue his work that are, let's say, handy. He's going to move his bed stuff to the new house. He's going to move his Fletcher's kit, sharpening stones, anything that's good for hunting or upkeeping his armor. And that's all he really needs. He's going to keep the rest of his stuff in his home. He's basically going to be using it as a crash pad and storage now. So how long? Sorry.
Okay. That would only take a few hours.
Okay. And seeing everyone else working on the labor, T would probably ask if anyone wants something fresh to eat and offer to go out and hunt something if there's time.
Assuming then we've all gathered back at some point.
Like whoever's around. Sorry.
Yes, anything you could gather would be rather nice. What surface creatures would you recommend?
Well, deer are usually very common this time of year. Enough for all of us to have a little bit, not a whole lot. Anyone have any preference? I can look for something.
Well, it's all rather new. Unless you think you can catch a pig or a cow. I think I've had those before.
Those are farm animals. Hunting them is illegal, but I will do my best.
Is it really hunting when you're slaughtering farm animals?
That's my point exactly. I'm killing someone's property. That is very illegal.
What if the farm animals
Put a
escape?
bounty on your head. Sorry.
So those ones are domesticated then.
Yes.
Well, whatever a deer is, it sounds delicious.
I'll bring what I can.
If you can find a turkey, I would enjoy a turkey.
Those things are hard to hit, but okay.
Ah, is that similar to a monkey?
All right. So, T, you can roll a survival to see, first of all, what you find and if you end up with a successful hunt. All right. You're actually able, with a 15, you bring back 2 kills. So you'd be able to bring a small deer, but not small because it's old. It's just more a little bit runty, so it's easier to carry. It's a good buck, and it has decent points despite its small statures. And then you bring turkey with it that you've also hunted, and I don't know if you bring the full carcass there or if you go home to clean it first and get some of the meat off of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna head back to my house. As I said before, I'm not dragging bodies through the fucking rich area. I'm gonna go back to my house, clean them up, salvage the actually edible meat, and then bring that over to the tavern bar, whatever, because it's a little bit more presentable carrying it that way.
Makes a lot of sense. So that would take you easily until dinner time, and it will still be even a late-ish dinner. So when you return, most of the people will be there. Cerise will be arriving not that far after you because it will be after the dinner rush. And you have plenty of meat to cook something up, and you're able to do so fairly easily in the kitchen area. I don't know if you're the one who's going to be cooking or if you're enlisting other people's help, but by this point, most people have gathered back.
If Cerise is around, I'd much appreciate her help, but TeaLeaf could come.
Marla heartily pitches in.
It sounds like she said I'll arrive not that long after you get there. So if you're starting to cook when I get there, I'll certainly.
All right. Well, then, yeah, Marla and I will start, and then when Cerise comes by, we'll enlist her help because it might be going disastrously at that.
Actually, not having realized, ahead of time that you would bring stuff there, she'd probably have also brought some pies from her shop too. But, there's no such thing as having too much.
Absolutely not, especially when you have a Goliath to feed.
Right. Yeah, in typical Cerise fashion, there's probably, each person's favorite type of her pie again, since that's how she rolls.
She knows what people like.
She do.
Well, you'd have lots of meat there to even keep aside for future meat pies. So that would definitely help and assist. And so you're all able to pitch in a little bit. Darius, T is doing some of the cooking. Darius and Kag-Ro, are you guys pitching in, or are you guys like working on the house instead?
Kag-Ro is going to continue to try to fix up at least a good table and clean it off for the feast.
I believe Darius is going to try and keep fixing up to what little effect he can. He's neither chef nor carpenter.
Okay. In that case, Marla, even if you're helping just a little, I need you, Cerise, and T to roll a basic d20, no bonuses.
If I have
Okay.
cook's utensils, can I roll that?
Nope.
Shit.
Where am I?
Oh boy.
Why is it not?
Cerise, you must save us. Oh.
Nope.
Oh no! Marla gracefully.
Oh, that wasn't for cooking.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good.
I didn't think it was
say-
for cooking. I was like, Vicky's not the type to make us roll for cooking.
But T, as you're all going about, when you go to put some of the food in the oven, there's a whoosh, and you could swear you heard a small go through your ear as it went by, and the wind goes into the oven. And a large flame, almost as if the inside of the oven sort of exploded. Some of the embers fly forward, and there's like what looks to be like a mini fireball going in the oven as you're putting things in. So I need you to do a dexterity saving throw.
I will turn this Joker if he's given us.
Well, you are lucky in the fact that they weren't very effective with how much of the fire went out rather than in. But all of the stove ends up covered in soot, and the ash that you had cleaned up from the area is over some of that. Some of your food from the embers and that has been ruined. There's at least 2 pies no longer edible with embers now sitting in it. And some of the furs that have been growing back, there's just a few spots here and there that are, once again, a little bald, but it's not enough to sear you, as you only take 2 damage, so it's just little pain spots, but you could practically ignore it.
Lif, was that you? I am not in the mood for... you have no idea how I lost the fur on my face. That better not have been you.
Darius, as you hear this explosion, you are still working on some of the home, and as you hear this and you turn about, you see that Lif was kind of holding a candle up so you could see better, because at this point it's dark. So there's a candle floating next to you where you are on the 2nd floor, and you hear this explosion and a bit of growling coming from T from below. You even felt it in your feet.
Followed by some shrill Cerise shrieking after that. As she's like, my pies!
Oh dear. And he sort of looks to the candle. What was that? Oh, well. Never mind.
The candle goes up and down for just a little bit, like an hinge and back down.
He'll set down whatever he was working on, and he'll rush down to try and find out what went on.
The candle follows you. Okay. So T, you're there giving Lif some lip. I need you to roll an... actually, no, not yet. So you're there giving some lip. Cerise shrilled. Marla has a bit of a reaction as well. I'm assuming Kag-Ro is also barging in.
Well, Kag-Ro, I think, was on the bottom floor when he was working on the table for them to eat on, so yes, he would have been nearby. To rush in and... What is happening? Is there enemies in the building? He'll,
The damn oven exploded.
do ovens usually do that?
No, they usually do not lift.
Liff, he was with me.
Whoa.
Either way, Liff, you better handle your ghost buddies.
Ghost buddies. There was only one in the house. Last I checked, at least.
Perhaps,
The one we talked to.
perhaps it is an evil demon, here to destroy the pies and wreck our plans.
Some sort of demon with a vendetta against spies.
You do not
I
know.
worked hard on those.
I need every single one of you to roll an insight check. Darius is sticking with this story that there was only one and Liff was with him. Okay. So everyone above a 10, first of all, that's everybody else, sort of realize, like, first of all, when there's a ghost that you know is nearby, how do you know that's Liff? Not like you can recognize him on his face or voice. And that also means you can't truly confirm there's only one presence here. So that makes it a little bit difficult, all with the being invisible and such. Above 20, so Cerise and T, you realize that you'll have to do something about it. But there are people who are quite skilled at talking with spiritual beings, the afterlife, communing, or maybe that your house could be a place where there's other kind of assault. Maybe Liff, by still existing, could attract some things. So how to protect that from there? And with a 22T, you're reminded of someone you know, you've encountered in the woods. When you've met them the first time, you encountered him doing a ritual on some form of grove. And as you crossed said grove, it's one of the places you had never felt as safe in the woods. There's just an air of serenity in what the ritual achieved. You know where to find him, so you think that might actually be someone who could assist with this particular dilemma.
TeaLeaf is going to spend a moment putting out the embers on his face and thinks it's over. If there's another ghost here, more than just Leaf, I'm not going to tolerate that. I know someone. I know someone who can help.
They won't hurt Liff, will they? He's been rather friendly with us and very helpful, especially with all the repairs.
I'm sure he can be persuaded. He goes by Drengarr. He is a oh God, I don't know how to put this.
Would I remember that name since I've met him?
He was more of a customer that you didn't necessarily know by name.
Oh.
If he were to describe him, you might actually be able to recognize it. It would be more of a visual recognition for you. And T, you don't really know what profession you'd classify him as, but you'd know he's a wild-looking or nature-based looking half-orc, but beyond that.
I do not want you to panic when I say this, but he is a half-orc, and he's I'm sorry. I am still very outraged, excuse me.
I'm outraged too. Oh wait, Half-orc. Did he come eat pie at my shop once?
Yes, courtesy of me. Oh, that was a story, alright.
I remember him. I mean, I didn't really have a conversation with him, but
Well, he might be useful to us right now.
Well then, I believe you should go fetch him. We should get this ready and this thing ready before the meat goes bad. I saw that you brought me my turkey.
Yes, I did. I was very lucky. I think I know where I can find him. I don't know how quickly I'll be.
Did you want some company?
Sure, if you'd accompany me.
Should perhaps we all go, or should the rest of us hold down the fort here?
I would like some of you to enjoy the food I just put arrows in. Our
Can
first
turkey
stop
be
might
eaten
not.
raw?
No, turkey cannot be eaten raw. It will kill you. Our first stop, however, is not that far. He could be at the yawning portal.
ah,
I was just there, but I could go back, of course.
You weren't looking for a half-orc, were you?
I don't usually look for half-orcs, no.
You probably didn't see him.
Or maybe I did.
He doesn't hang out with Yagra, does he?
Who?
Yagra from all that other stuff.
Yes, because all half-orcs must know each other. That's pretty obvious, yes?
I'm just saying,
Oh,
he got us
I
into
guess.
some mess.
Well, I mean, at the yawning portal too. It's not just that they're both half-orc. Although you wouldn't believe how many times people think that about halfling.
Well,
Although, honestly, with halflings, it can kind of sometimes be true. Never mind. She goes to trying to pull embers out of the pie.
How
yes,
about-
but yes. Go ahead.
No, you.
I was just going to say I was, and then he's going to stop. Oh, okay, yes. Yes, halflings do know each other, that's right.
Why don't we at least eat a little? I'm personally very hungry.
If there's malevolent spirits hanging around here, it might be best to find another place to eat.
Fair.
I know not about all spirits' capabilities, particularly the ones that might be found on the surface, and how they. But potentially, from legends I've heard, they might be able to taint food even.
Why don't we put the leftover meat in the cellar where it will stay cool, and the rest, and then we can go to the yawning portal, fetch your good half-orc friend, and solve our problems.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Right, so long as one of us stays up here to make sure the hatch isn't slammed shut.
Stays here
Again.
alone?
No,
No,
he meant
while
when...
we're in the stealth.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I was able to open it last time. I'll be happy to stay up here.
So, if I understand, the plan is that you all eat a bit, then stash some of it in the basement, and then go to fetch Drengarr. Is that correct?
Sounds good.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can't have rotting meat lying around.
You're all actually able to sit and enjoy dinner. There's not that much of the food that was ruined, and you're able to keep the fire going and finish off what wasn't. And you're able to sit down, have a meal, share some small talk, some plans. But as dinner kind of wanes, and Darius and Kag-Ro, I think you're the two going down to the basement.
Yeah, that can work. I imagine will be best for carrying things.
Kag-Ro in that case will just carry everything.
I like to think he goes down the hatch and then his head probably almost like reaches the top anyway because he's so darn. You can just
Well-
hand him things once he gets down there.
Yeah, it would be more that because you wouldn't be able to carry and go down the ladder. But yeah, you'd be able to do like a each your turn type of thing. So you'd be able to assist, and Kag-Ro tries to carry as much as possible. Though obviously, if Darius grabs some stuff, he does. But while the two of you are in the basement and the rest of you are just clearing off, one of the bottle of wine that was in the table smashes against the wall and shatters, spilling its content everywhere. Immediately after, some of the chairs goes flying by. Marla, you feel yourself being knocked as if someone bumps into you quite violently. It doesn't hurt per se, it doesn't feel good. You're able to keep standing, but it makes you take at least a couple steps back. It moves about, and you hear like bangs as if something bangs into the wall, and then another wall, and then another one. And then I need the three of you, Cerise, Marla, and TeaLeaf, to roll a perception. Sounds like Cerise decided to get out rather than stay and look. Okay, with
No, she had, like I was saying earlier, Darius had suggested someone make sure that the hatch didn't slam shut, and she'd offered to do that, so I would be standing by.
oh, okay. So with your perception, you would hear the commotion very clearly in the room. Possibly hear a sound of a fence or something of the likes from Marla. I'm not sure how she would have that. And T, as you see her move around, your eyes kind of catches something as visuals kind of cross the veil, and you see the ghastly form of what looks to be like a bearded face. The body is too blurry in this powdery, like wind about him. Though he looks mad, but he's not looking at any of you. There's another face in front of it, but it's completely shaded. So it's like almost a shadow. And they look like they're tussling. Like the two figures are fighting. And then it vanishes.
I don't think that Leaf was the only owner.
Oh,
What makes you think that?
I saw two people fighting. They were ghosts, I think. Cerise, you were good at talking before. Can you convince these two to break it up?
oh goodness. Ah,
Marla, while you're alone in the kitchen, because Leaf is talking to Cerise, the banging in the wind stops. One of the mugs goes up in the air and starts to shake, almost like someone is shaking it up and down repeatedly, and then just slams it back onto the table, and it all goes quiet.
Was that you, Liv?
The mug. What was it? The mug slams, hits, not slams, does 2 knocks on the table.
Oh, great. There are more of you. Oh, I thought 1 was yes and 2 was no.
That's possible. I
All right, we'll
Can't
go
remember
with yes.
clearly.
This is Liv.
Yes, it is. He's saying yes.
Well, that other guy didn't seem so nice.
Again, he bangs to say yes.
I take it you're not friends.
He bangs a yes again. And it's kind of like a really hard bang this time.
Did he cause you harm?
The mug hovers a bit as if about to hit. And it just stays there for a moment. Just kind of goes up tilted for a second and just goes back down softly.
So not
Okay.
exactly.
Or
Did he
somebody's
cause
restrained.
other people harm?
Did you say can he or did he?
Did he? He clearly can.
He's gonna bang on the table and say no.
Sure seems to be causing trouble now.
Bangs yes again.
Well, we're gonna go find someone to help us. Why don't you hold down the fort?
He starts to actually clear off the table and starts to clean.
That's so nice of you, Liv.
He bangs yes on the table. And as the conversation goes on, Darius and Kag-Ro and Cerise are done with the packing the meat downstairs and are able to come back out. So who is heading to the yawning portal?
Kag-Ro has said he was going.
Sounded like we all were, I thought.
Yes, I'd rather not stay in here while there's a ghost fight going.
Yes, I'm definitely not. Or Cerise definitely isn't.
Liv said he'll hold down the fort. We're good.
If I can't put arrows in it, I'll pass.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm supposed to turn it if I can't see it. So.
Well, if I could see it, I could yell at it.
I'm sure it'd appreciate that very much.
It hurts when I yell at things.
Fair.
That is true. You have a rather nasty wit when you want to be mean.
I wouldn't call myself witty, but thank you! I much appreciate it. Now, let us go find this magical, priesty, foresty guy.
Drengarr is his name.
Yes. Danger. Wonderful name. Could be a wrestler.
Close enough.
Well, I don't care if he's another half-man or... if he can help.
I guess technically he is a half-man. I mean, if he's half an orc, he must be half something else, and if it's a man, then he would be a half-man.
Don't confuse me any further, please.
But it would be very difficult, because they also have half-elves. They're all half-men.
Does it have to be half man? Could it be half anything else?
For half orcs, yes, I think they can, as long as they're all humanoid size. Would have to be like half. It could be half elf, half human, but they would still take the traits of the half-orc. They wouldn't get the elven traits because it wouldn't mix well.
Cerise is going to say rather dreamily, or like a half-elf and half-half.
It's all so much...
Ooh, I
we all
bet
just
that's
interread
very
with each other
tall.
up here.
What'd you say, Ruth? I'm sorry.
I bet that's very tall.
She just kind of nods with a smile on her face.
Darius, do they not have half fish in where you come from?
I don't imagine
no.
many other races are coming to visit to... And she just trailed.
The only things down there are typically unfriendly.
So there's no, like, half
And-
octopus, half fish.
Are you unfriendly?
Gods no.
What about half fish, half man?
You all just interbreed with everything. Next you'll be telling me they're half dragon.
Well, they're not half dragons. They're called the Dragonborn. They're two-legged dragons.
Forget I asked.
So you're all able to enjoy some banter and small talk as you're walking. It takes maybe 15 minutes. I'd say closer to 20 minutes with people who have a smaller speed, given their short little legs, to get to the yawning portal. The place is, sorry, the place is packed as it frequently is, and people are just busy enjoying a good evening. There's a few people that you see just arrived, some adventurers in their corners, a few people reveling in their own stories, other people just relaxing. Others clearly have been enjoying the evening for a while already. But you find several tables that are empty. And if you were to look around, you'd find a half-orc male sitting at one at a table. Drengarr, why don't you describe your character?
Right off the bat, you could quite easily tell he is not accustomed to civilization. He's got the very obvious characteristics of a half-orc, being gray-skinned and, well, human-esque. Around him, on his table is just a small mug of ale or whatever other beverages here, and he wears very tribal clothing. It's quite literally just hunted furs that he had hunted in his time. And next to him is a shield and a mace, but the mace is made out of a skull. He has dark hair and green eyes. One of his tusks is slightly cracked, and he has multiple sort of potions, vials, and other sort of druidic ingredients laying around his waist. At the moment in time, he's kind of just sulking in his mug. That's pretty much my character.
Real quick. Is it a human skull or an animal skull making up your mane?
It is animal.
Do we need to describe ourselves to Green?
I would appreciate it.
I was going to say, because you didn't hear us describe before.
Well, since you suggested it, you go first.
Oh, okay. Well, she's actually probably a little bit behind the rest of the people, but she is about 3.5 feet tall and kind of on the slightly rounder side. Not a fat halfling, but she is a little pudgy, and she's wearing an apron that has flour on it, and probably has a rolling pin attached to her waist since we're going to the yawning portal, and the last time we came here it was trouble, so she's prepared for trouble even though we're not expecting it. Kind of shoulder length on her, curly reddish hair, a little bit of freckles on her face. Trying to think if anything else stands out. She probably, and on her apron is a embroidered symbol of Yondalla, even though you probably might not recognize that. I don't know, I won't assume. But it's like a cornucopia with a bunch of like fruits and vegetables spilling. That's me.
Do you guys want to do it alphabetic?
Oh, I can
I
just
was
go
the same
next
thing.
as well.
I was going to say Kag-Ro and Leaf, I imagine, are in the front. So one of
Well, Kag-Ro is hard to miss. So as Kag-Ro walks in, you'll see this massive 8-foot tall Goliath with the grayish blue skin typical of their people, wearing sort of a like silk like top, sort of like a martial arts jerkin, but it's open completely at the chest, and you'll notice that his body is covered in these sort of Nordic looking tattoos, the most prominent of which is that he has a Celtic dragon on one arm and a Celtic a wolf on the other. He's around his waist. You'll see that there's these big heavy chains with heavy mace-like heads hanging off of him, and he's also he's not currently in his armor, so you can't see that part. But on the top of that, that's basically it on him. Pretty strong jaw, just tall. Doesn't have much hair on his head because Goliaths don't typically. So yes, he's pretty noticeable.
Next, T can go because you'd be closer to the front too.
Yep. All right. So T is a 6-foot tall tabaxi with a very tiger-like appearance. He's never without that green camouflage cloak that he's almost always wearing, even when unarmored. Where he's currently unarmored, he usually wears a leather hide-based armor. He has a few of his hidden daggers on him at the moment, but not his bow. Drengarr would probably know where they are. He's probably shown them to Drengarr. Drengarr would also notice that in absence of the leaf, like he has a leaf design under his eyes on his fur. It looks like curved leaves. In absence of this leaf design and the fur on his face, he's wearing a face mask that looks kind of like a niqab. It looks basically like a very slim ninja mask, to put it in a simpler term. And you'd probably notice that he's through that mask that he's missing a lot of fur on his face. He's also in bare feet. He never wears shoes, and that's pretty much all I have for him.
Okay, we'll move on to Darius.
Well, I guess first off, Darius is a Triton. Important. Meaning his skin is a silvery blue in color, and his hair is a darker blue in cut. He has sort of a round, almost boyish face, and his ears and hands are finned. And at his neck, he has large pinkish gills. He's wearing a tunic made out of sea silk, and at his belt hangs a water skin short sword and, well, his money pouch. Other than that, he's only wearing sandals.
Nice.
All right, so I'll ask Marla to describe herself, even if she's trying not to be spotted. So there's a chance you might not be seeing her.
She's actually not hiding, but she does kind of blend into the background. And had she not been joking with Cerise and the others, you might have even missed her. But she's just shorter than Cerise. She's wearing very simple black clothing. But if you know much about clothing, you probably can tell that it's really well made. The push to talk button keeps going away. But it's really well made and maybe doesn't quite fit in this particular area. She's got short, choppy red hair and a giant grin, and she probably doesn't look like she's armed, but she is.
All right. So, who's the one that will address Drengarr first?
It'd probably be me.
Then go ahead.
Ah, there's our guy, I'd say to the rest of the party. And kind of slip and slide my way through the crowd in order to get to Drengarr.
Kag-Ro will smile and, "Ah, yes, it is quite a fearsome-looking person. Let me join you." And he won't slip and slide, he'll just push right through everybody else in the way.
You'll make a couple of feet before somebody stands up and starts to be like, "Hey, that's him. I know that's him." And then you have like 3 people in front of you blocking your way, asking for an autograph.
"Oh, yes, of course. I'm very sorry about that. Just give me a... Would you have a pen a quill by chance? I could give you one." And he'll step over to the side to kind of let some of the other people get through.
Do I hear or notice this?
It would be hard to miss. And for the rest of the group, I would advise them to go around because otherwise they'll be there for a while.
So if I'm seeing big guy Mick, muscular man, getting all that attention, I'm guessing I also spot TeaLeaf and the rest.
Well, TeaLeaf was coming your way, so he'd be pretty close to you at that point. And I don't know if Darius, Cerise, and Maria broke off to trail behind T.
Yep. Slipped right around him.
Yeah.
Darius would have stuck close to Kag-Ro up until the crowd stopped him, then tried to slip through and find his own way. So yeah.
All right. So as I see TeaLeaf approaching, I'm going to get one last good chug of my ale.
Good to see you again, huh?
Yes, it's been a little bit. How fare you?
How fare I? It's been an interesting few days.
Oh,
Made some new friends, to put it lightly. And we'll tell you more about it later.
I see. Well, if you'd like, you could take a seat. All of you might have to get another booth, though.
As soon as he says a seat, Darius will pull out one of the chairs.
You'd
We've
have
made some.
Go ahead.
It sounds like what you were saying was more important. Sorry.
I was just going to add that Drengarr probably would have a fairly large round table in the corner if you wanted to have a spot mostly alone, given your dislike of big social surrounding or your being unused to it. So you'd have a big bare table with the exception of what's there for you. So there's enough room for everyone to sit at the table. Being on a bigger table ensures that you just stay on your own. People won't necessarily come and see you if you're there because it looks like you're waiting for somebody.
Ah, that sounds like something I would do, definitely.
We've made some enemies in that time as well, unfortunately. T here told us you could help us with a little bit of a problem.
Oh, do tell.
I know that you are very gifted in the way of cleansing and spirits. We have inherited a house that has a haunting.
I see. Is this Fey, undead?
What category is ghost?
That would be undead.
Okay. Well, one of them is very friendly. We've managed to befriend one. But recently we have happened upon another spirit that he could perchance be fighting. And we have no idea how to solve this.
I would like to evict one, keep the other, if you can do that.
Ah, typically when I put up air quotes, evict a ghost, it evicts all of them. But this is certainly a new chance to try something that is specifically targeting one and getting rid of them.
That was going to be my problem as well, just getting rid of one.
Well, I wouldn't mind exactly, but I couldn't just do it for free. It does.
There it is.
Let me explain. I have to use some pretty costly items to do this. And therefore, if I do this for free, it makes it hard to survive.
How much will we owe you?
I look at Cerise as I say this. I need as much pie as you can offer me.
Oh! Well, that's no trouble at all.
Perfect. I've been having serious cravings.
You hear TeaLeaf chuckle. Drengarr, you never change.
Well, how could I? I've only just seen this glorious invention called pie a few months ago.
Nope. Yep, that's still you. Okay. Well, we have a solution, possibly, and we have a method of payment.
Perfect. To the DM, do I start off with any of the items I need, or would I need to grab that rope?
I added them to your bag. You have enough for 2 rituals at the moment. I'll let you choose which 2 rituals you wish to do. It can't be twice the same. So you'll have enough of that in your bag. There's some pretty weird stuff in there. I think I have them all described in your features section. So
Yep.
you have those there that you started off with. Given you've been wandering for a while and haven't had need for them, demands for such services have been either low, or the people demanding it had no way of paying such a fee. And they didn't sound dire enough that it's something you would feel bad not to do. So you definitely have that you were able to hold on to.
Perfect. Well, let's begin.
I guess Kag-Ro approaches about the time everybody's getting up. Oh, I see I missed the fun. Good day!
Greetings.
On that topic, why doesn't everyone introduce themselves?
I would, except that I think it is best that we do it on the way back to the house. I seem to have several fans here, and if I start going around and saying my name, I might get a few more. We have important business.
You could try saying it quieter.
I don't think he can.
This is very quiet. I can be very loud if you like. Prove the difference.
Please do not. I am already losing my hearing.
You should put honey on those wounds.
I'm sure the bees would find that wonderful. Now, if we are to leave, it seems that your business is arranged here. We should probably hurry back before I get caught up again.
That would be wise.
So you're all able to leave this time uninterrupted. And during the 15-20 minute walk back, you're able to all kind of make your basic introductions. So by the time you get to the door, Drengarr you kind of know everybody's name, not necessarily their backstory, but you know that who is Cerise, who's Marla, Darius. Well, already know T in Kag-Ro, who probably gave you the full spiel of Kag-Ro, the Unchained Wrestler, undefeated, and so on. So you're able to get there to the front door, and you get to this big house. At this point, actually, it's not as bad as it was pictured before. The windows are bare of any glass, but and it clearly needs a good coat of paint. A lot of the wood pieces are still quite broken, but you see signs that people are working on it. It's instead of looking like an abandoned shack, it's starting to look very much like a work in progress. You enter into a large tap room, though a lot of the furniture is missing. Some tables only have one chair. The counter doesn't have very many boosters. And there's not that many people in the area.
Oh, I didn't realize we were yakking in the thing. So
Oh, that's alright. I just figured I'd do a little bit of it since as we were walking along. But yes, he would describe himself to everybody that he is, or to him that he is called the Unchained Devil, and that he works at the Colosseum for the most part. But then he would start trying to regale him with tales of our adventures and fighting barbed, bearded demons and other such things in a very theatrical way.
I see.
Well, this seems to be it. This is our tap room. Well, it's actually Lift's tap room. He's the nice ghost here. He serves drinks if you're thirsty. I'm sure he can get you something. His ales are quite good. And then he's going to lower his voice as much as he can. But be wary of the wine.
Nope, you got out there. Be careful of the who now?
I said, but he's going to quietly try, as quietly as he can say, but be wary of the wine.
Roll a stealth.
I see.
Kag-Ro, roll a stealth. Okay. Okay, you're fine. You're gonna see a mug appear to the counter. Well, not appear, it's pulled from under and it just kind of places itself on the counter. And there's a pint, like a pitcher, that pours golden liquid in it. And then the mug kind of floats to you and just stays at face level, maybe 6 inches away from your face, and it just floats there.
Right, that's the friendly one.
His name is Liff.
Lift.
We like Liff.
Greetings.
Unfortunately, he's unable to communicate through mundane means.
Oh, you can banish ghosts. Can you talk to the dead?
Yes, in a manner of speaking. Though it leaves a bit of a smell.
what?
Yes, I'm a shaman, and as such I'm able to talk to spirits, as I've been learning all my childhood. And through this, I can bring out some incense and other materials, and should I like, I can commune. I can also gain sight of them.
Oh, wow.
Well, that is very, very impressive magics.
So you could find out who he was and what he was doing and how long ago he lived and why he's still here and what he wants us to do and what the missing recipe ingredients are and
And who he's fighting with.
Most pressing is getting rid of the tried to harm us.
right.
Yes, there was an oven explosion.
It wasn't pleasant.
I see. I've never done this with people here. If this has some adverse effect on you, I apologize in advance.
Do you want us to leave?
This spirit, what has it done exactly?
The bad one?
Yes,
Well, it's
other
done
than
so
the fire.
nothing other than that so far that we're aware of.
Well,
What
we
if
don't
it's
really
the one
know.
that locked us in the cellar?
It was
Perhaps.
throwing furniture around.
That could have also been Liv before we made friends.
Oh,
And yes, I had just fixed some of that furniture too. So all my hard work wasted.
I see. Well then, I'll begin preparations. And I'm just going to go to a nearby unoccupied space and start bringing out the ritual components for the communication one.
Okay, so you're looking at the cleansing.
Yep.
So you're gonna pull out. I'd imagine you'd have most of it already pre-prep, able to do with some time. So you'd pull out a vial, what looks like a dark, murky liquid, and then there's a root that's like a deep, earthy red. And finally, just a simple block of incense. You may have a little stone with you to put it on, so that it doesn't burn the surface. You need something to light it as well. You need a little druidic knife that is used to both cut and crush such herb. And you would have to kind of peel the surface of the root and squeeze some of the juice into the murky potion. It's gonna kind of bubble, and you're gonna see it's gonna start to kind of shimmer. It's gonna keep on shimmering a rotation of color where it goes orange, like a beet, purplish pink, turns into a very muddy green, and then it keeps circling those three colors. And you have to drink that before it stops circling the color.
All right. Well, when it is fully prepared, I will imbibe.
You feel the taste. It is pretty bitter. It's not awful, but think of something similar to if you've ever had Buckley's, but take it, uh, mix like something muddy in it, like beets. Um, so that's the impression it will give. So you might make a face as it goes down, and it's very thick and syrupy. But as it does so, you feel all your senses tingle. The people around you will even start to see that every little hair, not the ones on your head because they're too heavy, any smaller hair you have on your face, even your eyebrow hair that you may have on your fingers, every one of them is going to kind of stick on end. They're all going to raise. Your pupils are going to start to dilate, and the world around you starts to seem wobbly, almost as if you're drunk, but your cognitive abilities are still there. It's just your vision that's really sort of impaired. And you have to find yourself a place to sit and start to do the communing. That part takes quite a while to do. It will take several minutes where you have to concentrate and let the the concoction take its full effect. And as you let your aura kind of slip in a place that it touches both the material world and the spiritual realm. And
Okay.
and there's a bit of a chant as you're doing this. So I don't know if you want to give an attempt at what it could sound like. Those would be in Fae. Wait, do you speak?
I speak Sylvan.
Yeah, so in Sylvan, you'd be able to do that in Sylvan. Even if you didn't know that during the procession that you're meditating, you would be able to speak that way, even though if you don't know the knowledge. If you speak it, it's even easier. So you're able to chant in Sylvan. It would be a little prayer to the spirit realm where you're basically saying things along the lines of I am no threat. I am a friend to the spiritual world. Show me your secret and lift the veil. And it chants in a circle. So I don't know if you want to give an attempt to what it would sound like with your orcish voice, or if you want me to kind of give an idea.
I would appreciate the idea.
In Vlishgloshglash, Sladash, in Lishloshgla, and it goes on in a circle. So that's what you're kind of seeing. The Sylvan language is usually has some rough edges, but it's very flowy. So you're all just seeing that, and his eyes would remain open, but at this point, the pupil is gone pure black, and it even starts to spread over the white of your eyes. How's everybody kind of reacting to what they're seeing?
Kag-Ro comes over with his plague doctor mask and leans down and stares at him.
I didn't realize you had a plague doctor mask.
Yeah, they bought it recently.
I knew they bought masks, but I didn't know he had picked a plague doctor.
That's really very interesting. How does he do that?
I hardly understand it myself, but it's normal, so just give him some space and try not to freak out.
Marla
Darius?
is thoroughly creeped out and waves for Lift to give her some alcohol.
Darius, who's standing, well, I know it's based on spaces, but actually about 5, is sort of sipping at the alcohol he still has and looking on both with curiosity and caution. And he'll sort of respond to both what TeaLeaf and Kag-Ro said with, whatever it is, I hope it isn't anything dark in nature.
Maybe you can use our magic to see, but still, it's very neat. I could use that. And he backs back up and then walks back over to the bar. Well, since we're all drinking, I don't know what time it is, but Liff, I'll have your spiced ale. Extra large mug, sounds delicious.
It's probably late evening by now.
Liff is going to take a picture of his spiced ale, and he's going to pour it in your mug, but instead of stopping when it's full, he just keeps pouring until it kind of spills on the bar and spills over your lap a little bit. At this point, Drengarr, you're, despite the fact that your body is still chanting, you feel that the connection has now been made. You have about an hour in this mode before you can go to the last part of the cleansing, which is your ability to now connect with the spirits of the place. So your body remains activated, but your spirit steps out of its body, and everything looks like it's in water. The colors are faded. Some of it is a little bit blurry, but you can see the mansion as it is. And you can see yourself sitting, and there's like a a white, bright cord that attaches you to your core. To your core, so you're not completely gone. So it's not like astral projection exactly. It's just an outer body type of experience, and even in this form, you're somewhat able to make sure that your body's heart keeps beating, that he keeps chanting, and that the connection is kept. You would be able to tell yourself to stop chanting, and you would re-enter your body immediately. You look around, you see Cerise, you see Darius, you see Marla and T, you see Kag-Ro at the bar, and he's being served by what looks to be a middle-aged, bearded man who's giving him a very unimpressed stare as he's overflowing the glass.
They don't see me, correct?
No, they do not.
Okay. So I am still not able to speak to any of the spirits?
You think you might be able to talk to the spirit, but you're not able to will yourself to speak in spirit form without speaking through your body. So whatever you say from your spirit mouth will also be said aloud for everyone to hear.
Okay. So I'm going to speak aloud. Make sure to protect my body. If I stop breathing, that could very well be bad.
Nope.
Yes, I should imagine. Protected from what?
TeaLeaf grabs his daggers.
I'm going to, I guess, walk over to Liff and say greetings.
Liff is going to look from you to Kag-Ro, and then it's going to take him a second. Then he's going to give you very wide eyes when he realizes you're actually talking to him. Me? Well, hello.
Yes, hello. I am, and I sort of point over to my body. I am Drengarr. My friends are, as you no doubt know, instructing me to figure out what has managed to come here besides you. Do you happen to have a clue?
He's going to put the picture down, which everybody will see. Be like, you'll have to be more specific. I poured my life into this place. You don't understand. I've put so much work. I've had this place built up. I've worked day, nights, 3 jobs at a time to pay for the walls being put up, for all the guilds to do whatever they had to open this tap room. It was my life's dream. I just want to see it fulfilled. I want to see my tap room open. I love to help and see that dream come true. Don't appreciate it being treated like some kind of servant. But for the rest, it's quite fine. There's no harm here, unless you're talking about the other.
Yes, that is precisely what I speak of.
I don't have much to say. He just arrived today. I don't know where that's from. Though I've sensed things around. They're usually just passing. I can't even tell if it's a man, a woman, an elf, human. It's a shadow passing. And as he says that, none of you kind of hear anything, but you just feel the temperature of the room kind of sink. It gets kind of cold. Being out of your body and not able to regulate as efficiently as the other, Drengarr, even your astral self, feel a shiver course your body.
Oh, it's chilly in here.
If you do not mind, please tell me, how come you still exist here? Is it merely your desire to see this place open up, become successful? Could it be possibly revenge in some variety? A negative emotion, perhaps?
Well, you're the expert. I really don't know how this goes. I just know I'm dead. I can move things. Sometimes I get a little mean-spirited. Those bad things can get a little bit the best of me. Anger can flare quite quickly. I've been tempted to possess a few of the people here on more than one occasion. But I really just want to see the tap room opened. Many of them are actually quite nice, and it's nice to hear my name being talked to. As for the person, I don't remember any enemies, if that might be another thing you're alluding to. Don't know if I can split my evil self. I wouldn't be able to be angry anymore if that were the case. Could I?
It is possible. What exactly caused your death?
Illness of all things. Could you relay a message?
Yes.
Seal the wheat bags. If you see a green worms, do not touch that wheat. Burn it.
I will relay this message to the party.
There's green worms. Did anyone see green worms? Are they big worms, little worms?
What a strange message to deliver.
The
Oh,
relayed
green-
message would be
they're
little
Bugs.
worms.
Little worms.
Green worms in the wheat. I don't remember what those are. But I'll look for them.
I don't know.
Ma was always warning me about green bugs in wheat.
Why don't we kill two birds with one stone and start a cozy fire and destroy a problem in one?
Are there green worms in the wheat?
Should we go look?
I suppose. Darius, do you have that lighting kit of yours? I don't have mine with me.
Yes, I keep it with me.
Maybe you could get the embers started while we go check for the green worms.
If you don't think the other hears. Send flames back in my face as it did you.
But you are protected by your holy persona. I do not think you should worry. You are the mighty Godslayer.
I'm a lot more comfortable being cold than on fire, though. But very well.
I'm willing to light the fire if you hand it to me.
Oh, yes, please do, Cerise. And he'll hand off his tinderbox.
As Cerise flicks it open, a gust of wind shuts it, and you're unable to set the flame. It almost feels like the place is darkening. Every candle you had burning in here shuts down, becomes very dark and hard to see. Those with dark vision can't see about. You know where everyone is. There's a shadow added in the mix. Drengarr, you also have dark vision as well, do you?
Yep.
Then you see a same shadow going about in the place. You could swear it has horns and a tail. There's a flash of red at the center of the chest. and it just seems like you can't tell any details, as if the creature is a walking shadow going about. Some of the chairs start to crash. Let's see.
It seems something is going on. We should probably not go down to the cellar at the moment.
Yes. Check for worms later. Can someone come over
do-
here?
TeaLeaf, do a Constitution saving throw, please. You are not lucky.
Poor T.
You feel as though something tries to scratch you. An exact 5 fingers, like a hand, but it ends far too pointy. However, the thing didn't expect for you to have such leathery and furry skin, and it just ends up irritating, knocking a little bit of dead skin loose, ripping a little bit of hair, but not enough to really cause harm, on one of your arms as it passes by. And you just feel like almost as if it's emanating it threat and malice.
TeaLeaf lets out a scream of panic and flashes a dagger in his direction before making his way quite hastily to the center of the room. Something's in here with us, everybody. On your guard.
Yes, hold yourself. It is a shadow.
A shadow.
What?
Yes, it has horns and a tail. Possibly a tiefling. Or some other fiend.
Demon.
I told you it was a demonic stove. I was right! Now where are you?
The hatch door opens. To everyone, it just seems to open out of the blue. Drengarr, you see that Lift has opened the hatch door, and it starts to carry some wine bottles down there.
I want to wander over to near where the shadow is, not exactly too close, but just enough where I feel somewhat safe.
It doesn't really let you. It keeps moving about. It goes in circles around the place, and once it gets an eye that you're trying to do this, you're going to have to do a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no.
An 11 will not be sufficient. You see that as it clearly wasn't facing you and turns, it's hard to tell with just a black shape if you were looking at the back or the front. But it seems to open 2 eyes, and all there is these red glowing eyes staring in your direction. And it bears pointy teeth. You see them gleam white. And it charges at you, full speed, so fast that no human, no elf, not even the monks can run that fast. And you find yourself pushed back and knocked into your body. As your spirit connects with you, you fall on your back and slide a good 2 feet. And you feel a little dizzied. The concoction still has some effect. So even in your body, you're able to catch a glimpse of it, but it just seems like it's fading in and out. You'd be ready to do the rest of the cleansing. Lift seems to have departed from the main tap room.
Okay.
Is there a crash accompanying the noise that him getting pushed back?
More like a near silent thump, because it's a person's back falling onto the ground. There might be a bit of a bonk with the head, but he's covered in fur and has kind of thick hair, so it wouldn't be a loud crash, but enough noise for you to kind of look in that direction.
Okay, so he looks in that direction and sort of starts walking in that direction in low light. He can't see very well. What was that? Is everyone okay?
Drengarr got knocked over. I'm going to grab Darius and Cerise both by the hand and try to coax them over here. It's just me, it's just me, it's just me.
That was not. That wasn't me.
That was me.
Why don't we ever do these things during the day?
That's a good point. Maybe we should do that in the future, but that's not relevant right now. We should definitely see what this thing is. What is this? What did this, Drengarr?
TeaLeaf tries to help Drengarr up as he explains.
Am I able to talk to my party, or am I still spirity form?
No, you're fully in your body at this point.
Okay. I'm going to relay some more information. It had 2 red glowing eyes, teeth white as snow, and it moved so fast. I've never seen something move that fast. This is not typical in any fashion. Liv said it only came in today.
Well, how did it get here?
I couldn't say. I wasn't able to commune with it. It forced me back to my own body.
This is terrible. We just agreed to take this place yesterday, and we were making all these plans, and I'm about to sell my shop, and what are we going to do?
That's where I come into place. I need to expel the threat.
Everybody.
How do you plan on doing that?
They say incense has a connection to the dead, and from what I have seen, it is mostly true. And to loudly chant, it should be enough to perhaps dissuade it from staying around.
Should I yell at it?
A little interjection, as you're all kind of discussing what it is to do. Drengarr, you lose sight of where it is because your eyes are not as connected to the spirit realm in your full body. You just see flicker of it when it passes close, but you don't see it anymore. Marla, I need you to do a Constitution saving throw.
I closed my character sheet to see the map. Hold on.
Okay, so with the 15, that works pretty well, but you are still picked up from your seat. You feel 2
There
strong
is
hands
screaming.
trying to grab you at each arm and just lift you up, basically as high as you would be if Kag-Ro had picked you up to look at you in the eyes.
Oh, no.
You feel...
Can I grab my daggers and try to stab the thing?
No, because he has you by the arm. Your hands and arms are pinned next to your body to be lifted that way. And you feel a hot breath in your face, kind of like a pulse. And every pulse of this hot breath smells like brimstone. You get, for a second, a flash of pointy teeth. And you can feel its claws trying to dig into your side. But your constitution's a bit stronger than expected, and not to mention the way you have your straps on underneath. They're placed just right so that they don't jab into you. And you just feel him as he, almost as if he's going to bite you. And it feels like the teeth are kind of penetrating the side of your face. But instead of biting into the flesh, it just goes through. And you feel a very intense cold to the side of you. And you're dropped to the ground. And you need to add a dexterity saving throw to see if you fall back or land on your feet. That would be a stumble, but you still manage to keep standing.
Ah, that hurt, you stinky butthole.
Wait! All is under attack. Where are you, creature? Come out! We will break your teeth and bust your face!
Do
And he's
not be
actually
rash.
going to vicious mockery it.
Is that a wisdom?
I think it's charisma.
No, it's wisdom.
Is it? Oh.
Charisma to use, wisdom to... I think.
Okay. With that, you're all gonna see this creature. It kind of looks like the shadow of a tiefling, but it has very pointy teeth, and you can see it grab its head and shaking it kind of vigorously. It's standing right here. And it's there for just a moment as it's trying to fight off this psychic attack. It's gonna flash Kag-Ro a vicious red glare before vanishing out of sight again.
Cerise, I'm not gonna do it, but she kind of squeals in alarm.
It
Kag-Ro,
is the demon.
roll a perception check, please.
Which who? Everyone?
Oh,
Him?
me.
Kag-Ro.
Oh, sorry.
With a 14, it's enough to know that on its chest, that flash of red that Drengarr had quickly viewed. As it stared at you, your eyes, instead of looking at it in the face, went down. And on its chest is emblazed, a symbol. And you know that symbol. You have it on a necklace, an amulet that she looted in the sewers. It's the symbol of Asmodeus.
Kag-Ro grabs the amulet of Asmodeus and he says, "Reveal yourself, creature!" He doesn't think it's gonna work, but... he does, I don't.
Do wisdom saving throw.
It's like grabbing it and showing it to the creature, is what I was doing.
You just hear a voice in your mind that says,
You will join the Master. You will be part of our forces. You'll see in time.
Don't make me make your head explode again. And then he's going to look to the others. It's some sort of monster from that knows this Asmodeus symbol. I'm guessing whatever, maybe it's related to the bearded, sparkly guy.
Bearded spark. It's a demon, obviously. I saw its tail and its horns, and it's demon.
It is definitely a fiend. And yeah, I'll start the ritual as I start rising.
okay, so you're able to get the incense burning. And as you start chanting and the incense burning, you all start to hear, in the air, in and out, like it's broken. But it's clear screams of pain, and you just hear these... and it goes on, and it's broken, and the furniture starts to break, but not like it's being thrown. It's almost like someone crashing into them. And Drengarr, as you're chanting, your eyes see flashes of it, and you see the creature every now and then. It looks like it's waddling. Your ritual is starting to affect it, and it's trying to fight against it, but it looks like someone who's injured, trying to just resist. And he stumbles and falls into a table. He stumbles into the counter, stumbles where the door are, breaks the windows are, and breaks some of those remaining planks. And in the last moment of your chanting, this lasts for an easy good 15 minutes as you're all kind of dealing with this situation. And it just appears, and everyone can see it clear as day. And it's just black. It's almost like an embodied shadow with red eyes and white teeth and a symbol on his chest that looks like an inverted pentagram in a circle, glowing bright red. And he just says in his last moment, "Asmodeus will claim you all." And he looks like he explodes, and his parts just turn into little ember everywhere that then dusts off and smokes. And you see this cloud of smoke escape one of your bare window.
If during the explosion, Kag-Ro will instinctually jump in front of the party and turn his back to them, or turn his back to the explosion as if trying to shield them.
And Drengarr will go forth towards the explosion to keep chanting.
Once the last of the smoke is gone, everyone feels almost like there's a weight lifted, and the very air feels lighter in the room.
Is it gone?
Drengarr falls to the floor, out of breath. Yes.
Kag-Ro will come over and help him. Thank you, Shaman Man. We much appreciate it. It's all right. You can rest now. Have a drink. It'll make you feel better.
And you hear the hatch open. One by one, the candles in the tap room will be lit. Same with the fireplace.
He's still alive. Thank you, Drengarr.
Alive
Yes.
is a subjective term.
You have a point, but he's not dead. He's dead alive.
It's a fiend. It'll go back. It'll be back. But Marla, how are you?
Okay, actually. Thank you for your concern.
And the rest of you?
Well, now, thanks to your aid. That was impressive. So,
That was extraordinary. I've never seen anything like that. Exploding creatures, and wonderful rituals, incense, and stirring things. I'm sure that it would be a wonderful story to tell. The heroes of old would definitely have it in their story.
That's no need. I don't much care of being part of a grand story.
What are
I'm
you talking?
satisfied with what I have.
What are you talking about? All life is a grand story.
That is true.
I'm
I have no need for the spotlight, though.
well, spotlight or no, you played your part admirably. It's
Yes.
good to know that some here on the surface do wield their weapons in the Great War.
I'm still not completely done, though. Though, I need to take a break. That took it out of me. But tomorrow I need to ward this place against further intrusions.
That, you remember, will take a full day to do.
Yeah, but for now I want to just rest.
Here, drink.
Yes, just give me a minute to properly get on my foot.
If need be, we have a spare room upstairs.
I was just about to suggest that.
Ah, wonderful. If you do not mind me, I would be appreciative if I could possibly live here for some time. I unfortunately don't have too much money to remain living in taverns.
Certainly, if you're the only person we know who can deal with this when it happens, I think we need you here.
Yes, it'll be quite wonderful to have someone who can banish evil spirits, but try to leave Leff alone. He seems kind enough.
Yes, of course, not all unlife is evil. Just as not all life is good.
Well, you've proven yourself enough to earn my respect. I have no qualms against you staying.
Thank you.
I believe the extra room is all the way upstairs, is it not?
Yes, I hope you don't mind taking the basement, or no, attic room.
No mind at all. Speaking...
You go.
No, sorry. Darius, you said something about Persana
Ah, yes.
earlier.
I'm a paladin of Persana, as you surface dwellers. Zitrion, as we say.
Sounds familiar. Could you enlighten me sometime?
I would be honored, in fact, if you have time right now.
Do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior first?
Let me at least get halfway drunk. Then we'll talk.
Ah, yes, alcohol. Let us imbibe great quantities before we discuss.
Oh, I need to listen to this. I've never heard you speak about Persona at great length. I should know more about you. I will join you in this endeavor.
Ah, marvelous. I'm always happy to share more of my people's traditions and history. The surface is woefully ignorant to such things.
I don't know about anyone else, but I think I need some warm pie.
I
Maybe
would
some
love
warm
pie.
milk.
Oh, right. The oven should be fixed now. We can finish making our food.
And more ale.
I'm not one for drinking, but tonight has changed my mind.
More ale.
Liff, do you mind? I think everybody is going to be drinking tonight. He looks around into the empty room to see if he can find him.
He went down.
You're gonna... Okay, you're gonna see an empty pitcher float, and it's gonna be thrust a little aggressively in your chest, Kag-Ro.
I've already given them quite a few ales. Did you not notice?
No response.
Perhaps
I
we should
suppose-
go a lift, because it's been a long evening.
Someone still needs to check for those words.
Fine, fine. I suppose I could do it. Let's see, how am I supposed to do this? Is this one ale? And he'll wander down into the cellar and start kind of knocking around the ale barrels, looking at it and sniffing it and looking very confused at which is which.
You're gonna hear a wince coming from the proper vat, and it's gonna start very slowly to open, and you're gonna get a good smell from it.
You know, Lift, once we actually have business, I'm not going to be a bartender here. I'll be bringing in the customers, not serving them. And he'll fill it up and walk up the stairs. Or up
None of
ways.
us knows that Liv is offended at being the server because we couldn't hear him.
Oh no.
Do you happen to know any
We're just
ghost
like,
waitresses?
he loves serving ale. Why wouldn't he? That's what he tried to do to us the minute we got here. He wants to do it. Sorry.
You guys are gonna need to bathe so much. Alright. So, Kag-Ro's able to fill in that picture, and you're able to have a good conversation. Darius can go on at length, though at this point the night is starting to get late. The moon is high. You judge getting closer to midnight. So you can go on and on about how Persona is. And over time, in this conversation, we won't cover it tonight because that would be a very, very lengthy conversation. I'll open you guys a section to converse that. But Drengarr,
fine.
you
that's
make
perfect.
the connection that it touches your dreams. All these things that keep on coming back. You feel like that's where the name connects. You feel like what Darius is describing links to there. So you get a sense that this is where there's a connection, but you really can't detail it yet. It just feels like something puts you on the right path.
Ah, that's good.
So as you're all able to spend the next little while, so you all get to know each other. We're going to come to a close of the game in just a moment. I'm going to explain that you're going to spend the next few days continuing to work on the house, taking care of some of your personal business. Drengarr, you'll use the last of your component. You'll see him meditate in several areas of the house where you have to leave him for most of the day to do so, and there's going to be ritual circles that going to be drawn, but you can't see them because the ingredient makes that kind of paint and ink completely invisible once it dries, and the place becomes protected from those evil energies. It doesn't seem to affect Lif very much, though you have discovered that when you do anger him, he's very helpful most of the time, though when you start to treat him like a servant, he gets slippy and he can get a little mean. So he'll go from telling you to do it yourself by shoving you a thing, but he'll go to throwing drinks in your face, dumping entire pitchers of them, and he can sometimes hold a grudge at some points. He will slam doors in your face as you're about to cross them, pull a chair from under you, all juvenile stuff, nothing that hurts. But if he's mad at you and you cross and you close a door that has a ritual symbol on it, most of your bedroom doors have them, he can't cross. So he's kind of stuck outside, and he'll sometimes kind of knock on it angrily. But once his, we'll call it a temper tantrum, has gone down, it seems to ebb. And it's okay, but he can't follow you when angry. He can just go through the walls and into your areas when he's in a good mood.
Well, Kag-Ro is going to make a habit of having one-sided conversations with him. Or at least he has no conversations with him.
He'll definitely entertain those. And yes, so during those times, those will pass. And our next game, we will start on the day of both Kag-Ro's big game, big wrestling match, I should say, and Cerise' expected visit at the bakery.
Bum, bum, bum.
Guess with that
Yay.
being said, Kag-Ro will, the day after this day, start to do some heavy training with lifting and push-ups and sit-ups and extra hardcore workouts. Which, since we all live here now, you guys will notice.
Does he
I
bring
was
in all
about to
his
offer
weightlifting
myself
shit?
a. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry,
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
that was all I was gonna.
So, what are you offering yourself to, Cerise?
You totally blurfed out for me what you actually said. I was
Uh,
I was making a joke about how, she could offer herself as a dumbbell, except she's only like 45 pounds and he probably actually needs to bench like TeaLeaf.
I was just asking if he'd bring all his weightlifting equipment into.
He will probably put it either in the common room or in his room, depending on what people allow for him to do. And you'll also notice, as I mentioned before, anybody who happens to be watching him, he will encourage them to join him and try to give them tips on how to make their bodies stronger. Using bardic
But can
inspiration.
you scale a wall?
Cerise is actually pretty strong for a halfling, but she would, do a little bit of it just to see what. I imagine his weightlifting equipment is like big barrels with ropes attached to them that he can lift them and stuff like that,
Yes, there is those, and any kind of like hanging down rafters that can support his weight he'll also use as like doing pull-ups and other things. But yes, he'll do that, but he also encourages just physical activity without using the equipment as well. So yes, everybody must be strong.
Darius will definitely take him up on any offer given.
So will Drengarr.
It's just like, this is what we're doing now.
Yep.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
He would probably focus more on agility and would kind of like do flips and shit. Like he would try to like step over people while they're bench pressing, or just he's more meant for climbing the trees and pursuing, not really bench pressing.
I can always assist in that.
Sweet.
Yeah. Cerise needs more help in the agility department. She's actually fairly.
Well, TeaLeaf can definitely help you with that.
Kag will actually probably help if you're doing things he hasn't seen for agility training. Because he likes to be acrobatic. Believe it or not, he's actually fairly good at acrobatics too.
Sweet.
I lift flour sacks all day and knead dough.
Strong forearms.
Do you?
When you're running, push down with your toes as well. It makes you run.
As I think we're done, I think I'll turn off the recording.
Sweet.
Yeah, that I was just wanting everybody to get a chance to kind of give a quick description of what they would do. Give just a quick glimpse of how they are in, days that aren't necessarily active or action-packed.
Something that various people will hear Cerise say more than once is she'll be making little comments here and there about how it'd be nice if there were some stairs accessible, not going outside all the time. And since it sounds like a few days are gonna pass between now and next session, someone will actually like if they come down for a snack or a drink in the middle of the night, at some point someone will find her snoozing in the kitchen on a sack of flour.
Oh, that's adorable. I can also, for some reason, picture that everyone has like a hole on the same pant leg at like knee level, where at some point they didn't realize it, but Gloria's been kind of munching on it.
Oh.
I love it.
Well, Darius avoids this by not wearing pants.
Pants are for people who are ashamed of themselves.
Marla would probably be in and out over the next couple. She's trying to find
Gloria.
a stupid gem.
Trying to find what?
The gem of something that I forgot the name of already because I didn't write it down.
Oh, right.
A stone.
Yeah, I thought it was something like galore.
Yes. I will copy that into my character sheet so I will have it.
Speaking of what I assume to be out of character for us to be known criminal activities that you might remember. Don't you already know the name of those demon boys that they want? We're going to pay you to tell them?
I think so. They were with the Zentarum, but I wasn't sure that was the information they wanted.
Like the ones that were represented by the yellow eye. I thought we had the name of their...
I
might
think
be
the
wrong.
yellow eye is my guild symbol, but they
Yes.
went to the wrong place.
So you're the demon wish.
Repent.
They were working with the other thieves guild.
Repent.
So I didn't want to actually, eat up the last of our time talking about but
No, you're
which
cutting
stat
out.
did I use if I wanted to do that?
Yes.
Getting up bad.
Well,
I was...
Yes, we are going to end it tonight, but feel free to stay in the chat, especially for you and who were you having the chat with? Drengarr?
Yep.
So if the two of you want to get it going, you may absolutely do so. I will definitely have a text chat open so you can keep it all week because I feel like that's going to be a very intensive conversation. And these kind of things I may keep the habit of keeping them in text when it's especially between two people so that we don't end up having like an hour and a half for two people and then everybody's involved. So I'll try to keep it in that flow for the moments where it happens. But yeah, that is a very strong connection with your background right there. So it's an element that's important to cover. But thank you everyone for joining tonight. This was really fun.
Thanks for having me.
For having us, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Glad we got to introduce our last boy to the group.
Yep, I didn't get kicked out immediately.
Aw.
Huzzah.
No, it was fun and it added a lot of opportunity for me to basically homebrew this entire session.
Yeah,
But
it was so cool.
It adds a lot of depth to who the people are, and I'm able to add some things that will lead to other things, so we'll see how things go.
Brilliant.
Looking forward to
Yeah,
it.
I told Jake, I was like, I don't know if she's getting this from a book somewhere, making this up, but wow. It's
It's
like,
so cool.
I'm impressed right now.
We were pretty impressed, yeah.
Yep.
she's
11 out of
amazing.
10.
We need to do more rituals, apparently, because that was super cool.
Thank you, thank you. I'll be here all millennia.
Don't worry, we'll do another when we go into the elemental plane of water, and you guys all...
What do you mean? I'll just turn
Right.
into a fist.
We have to wait till we're like level 20 for that shit.
It's fine.
I'll just be a
Until-
fist.
Until Cerise isn't trembling and everything.
Level 20
And
Kag-Ro
has,
seems
like-
funny to me.
A warhammer, which is a big hammer with 2 rolling pins on either end of it.
That sounds epic.
Just lash 2 rolling pins together with a broom.
Make a rolling pin spear. Like it's just a big ass stick with a rolling pin on the end.
Actually, I think she has one of those hand strainers that have, but all of the bottom has been spiked. And this way, if you ever encounter another Sturges, you can net it and shake it.
Fucking Jesus, dude.
Menacing.
Dude, wait, a strainer as a shield would be the fucking coolest.
Brutal problems require brutal solution.
Yep.
I love it.
All right, I'm gonna log off. Thank you all, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Alright, see y'all then.
Yep. Good night.